to be very important for you to get into data analytics role. So guys, here is my sheet. Skills and roles required to get into data science. Rather, I would put it as data analytics. So it is like a first step. If you become a good data analyst, then probably you can build up, then you can go ahead for machine learning. You can build up more and more skill sets, and then you will be becoming a data scientist. So what are the basic steps? That's point number one, Excel. Guys, we all know what Excel is all about. Someone will say, okay, I want to become a data analytics. Excel is a very old tool. Why do I want to work on that? Guys, the answer is very simple. If we talk about organizations, many of the organizations are still using Excel. And other things are like, if you know Excel, if you know what all things to be done on Excel, a few of the important skills like pivots, VLOOKUPs, HLOOKUPs, sorting, if you know all these things, then you visualizing the data and playing with data will help you to lead to a data analytics, and you can clearly understand what exactly thing follows. So Excel is an important thing. What in Excel? Because Excel is a huge topic. If you talk about Excel, if you just try to get into Excel, you may end up your 5 to 6 months just by learning Excel. But that doesn't mean that you have to learn everything. I will note down a few points. Start with this thing. Ensure that you do this thing daily. Spend 2 hours on learning this. Okay. So what are those, guys? What are those? VLOOKUPs, lookups, basically. Lookups are generally used to find something which is there in a data, a sheet, and to cross-check whether those things are available in some other sheet. So VLOOKUPs is like a very important thing that will help you. After VLOOKUPs, there is something known as pivot table. Okay, pivot table. The pivot tables are again going to help you when it comes to looking at the data and making up in the form of pivot tables, and then to analyze what all things can be done, what is the derive to conclusion. So pivot tables are again quite important. Then I can say basic sorting, then if formulas. Let's spend time. You have to spend time on this. Spend daily 2 hours, learn this formulas, VLOOKUP basic, and keep learning. But to start with, these are the things that should be good enough when it comes to understanding and getting the hack of data analytics. And then afterwards, mathematics. Okay, rather I would say basic maths and statistics. Because as a data analyst, you have to be good in maths and statistics. So it's not that everything that is there in maths will be useful, but you should have that understanding. You should have that understanding like what is median, what is mode. Okay, so once you know that, it would be helpful for you in analyzing the data that would be given to you, to deriving conclusions. That's the reason why I said that mathematics and statistics are very important if you want to get into data analytics. I will tell you few of the important points that you should know, like mean. There's something like mean, then median, mode. Then these three. Guys, search, if you are really, okay, if you already have computer background, if you already have mathematics background, knowing this will be somewhat easy. But if you belong to other field, when you are trying to step into data analytics and you are from non-mathematics, non-computer science field, then search it and try to learn all these things. Then something known as correlations. Then comparisons. What correlations and comparisons? If we talk about the data, the percentage, if we talk about the sales report, if you have achieved XYZ percentage in first quarter, and if you have achieved XYZ, so ABC percentage in second quarter, what is the difference? What is the difference of the growth rate? 20, what is the difference? Like 60,000 sales achieved in first quarter and 70,000 sales achieved in second quarter. what is the difference between two quarters in percentage? You should know how to answer this. So these are like comparisons and correlations. You should know all these things. Okay. Then basic profit and loss. Then I will say percentile. And I won't talk in details about this because I want to cover a few of the points. Yes, you have to explore this, you have to work towards it, and daily spend 2 hours. Percentile, then bell curve. There is something known as bell curve, that as well. So once Excel is done, once you have a good knowledge on mathematics and statistics, then comes a phase which is into BI tools. That's what exactly is this. Two are majorly used: Power BI and then Tableau. As far as I have observed, Power BI tool is used in many firms as it gets easily attached with other systems because it is also MS Office product. Okay, so Power BI. So what exactly are these tools, right? As these are visualization tools. Let me make notes of it. Okay, visualization tools. So guys, when you get a data, you have to clean that data. You have to ensure that it is in proper format where you can make sense out of it. Okay. So for those tools, for visualizing, these are basically known as visualization tools. It's very important to know what exactly you have to do there. I will step by step talk about a few points about how you can get started. Rather, I will make a note of it. Okay. So guys, there are simple queries. There are some simple queries known as there is a feature known as Power Query. This basically will help you to clean and transform the data. So this you should know that. Okay, I will just put it there. Power Query is a feature. Power Query. It's basically a feature. Okay, let me not dig deep into this, guys. I want you to go ahead and explore and take it seriously and start learning towards the skills if you are not aware of it. If you are aware of it, you still have to just look at these things. You have to work on the relevant projects to ensure that you get upper hand in the interviews. Okay, so Power Query is one of the features. Then what else, guys? Data modeling. Then what else? There's something known as DAX. What else, guys? So guys, these are some of the basic things that you should be aware of. Then what else, guys? Dashboards, the most important thing. How to read the dashboards, how to prepare the dashboards, you should be aware of that. Then guys, these are some of the important things. Then if you are working when you have to deploy some of the stuff in the cloud, if your company is working on something and then your files are deployed in the cloud, then there is something known as PBI service. See, you have to do this as well. There's all these things that I have said. It's mostly into Power BI. So now this is what it is. So guys, what after that? That's SQL. If you ask me, I would say MySQL. MySQL is used for each and every role that comes along with data science. Like it can be used in data scientist, data analytics, or data engineer, whatever it is. Like it is the role which is very much useful. SQL. Okay, you have to learn SQL. Learn SQL. That is something very important. Without reading much into it, let me see. SQL, that will be followed by Python. As SQL is very important. I've seen whenever interview happens of data science, SQL is very important to understand, and people ask you questions related to it. Okay, so just be prepared for that. And what you can prepare, guys. Okay, let me talk something about that. There are like some of the six big statements that people talk about. They are called like SQL queries. You might have heard about this thing. I'm assuming that you have already been through SQL training if you want to get into data science. So there is something known queries known as select, then form, then where, like all these select, form, where. So be aware of this. Then there is something known as uh, joints. Be aware of this as well. So what do you exactly do in these joints? You join two of the tables. So not going in much details of that. There are something known as left join, then there is something known as right join. So there are something related to that. And that is then followed by Python. That's what you should learn in Python. Because Python is one of the important skills that you should know if you want to get into data analytics role. As it doesn't mean that every data analytics role requires you to work on Python, but yes, Python is important because most of the companies, many roles are asking for Python as well, and many companies are now trying to move into Python. They are trying to work on the data because data is everywhere, and data is holding the key for the success of the company. People are investing huge amounts on that. So Python is going to be again very important tool. So there are some of the libraries in Python like NumPy. Okay, let me note it down again for you. Important libraries. Do not restrict yourself to this. Go ahead, spend good time in Python. Do not restrict yourself, but these NumPy, then there is something known as pandas. I'm assuming that you already know this. If you do not know this, you have to know this. Okay. Then there is if condition out there. That's that Python. Okay. If condition, then for loop. Because then Python is very useful. It is very easy. Okay. Once you work on these libraries, it would be very useful. Then there are some of the visualization libraries. Visualization libraries like Matplotlib. There is something known as Seaboard. So all these things will help you in visualization. So do this, guys. Start working towards it. Start acquiring and learning these skill sets, and then keep working and building projects. Keep building your portfolio. Showcase it in the LinkedIn. Showcase it in your GitHub profile. Add profiles to your resume, and you should be in a position to answer each and everything that is written in your resume. Okay, so those are the important skills. So guys, if you know these skills, first half is done. You will be in a position to understand what exactly is data analytics, what exactly you have to do if you get selected for that. And when you do projects related to these skills, projects related to Excel, project related to Power BI, then complete analytics project related to Python. When you do all these things, when you prepare those dashboards, when you showcase it, then the recruiter will understand you have already invested time in that, and you would be fruitful for the company. So if you do not know these skills, these are primary skills that you have to know to get into data science. Okay, data analytics to start with. What other than that? As people, it's not all only about acquiring the technical knowledge. You need to have some of the business knowledge. You need to have business knowledge because you will be working on data. And data is related to business. It can be any business. It can be into finance. It can be into health science. It can be into healthcare. It can be into insurance, into security, into salary. So all these roles requires data analysts. So the scope is huge. The scope is huge, but the current challenge is that there are many people who are looking for a job, and you can overcome this challenge by doing things right. Okay, so do things right and you can overcome this challenge and you can get upper hand. So now what we are talking about, business knowledge. Business knowledge. What exactly business knowledge is? You should have an idea about how business works. If we talk about sales, marketing, then finance, you should know how to understand the metrics. Okay, then understand profit, loss, revenue reports, then how is the market share, what else, forecast, what is budget forecasting, then what is sales, sales already done, then some stuff related to employee engagement, employee cycle, the joining. So guys, data, whenever data is there, you will have to be aware of it. So know these basic stuff. And after that, you need to have some domain knowledge. Because what exactly is this domain knowledge now? There are different verticals, there are different domains like retail industry, FMGC, fast moving consumer goods, then banking sector, then oil sector, then health care. Because these sectors are few of the top sectors when it comes to requirements into data science. So you should have some knowledge about these sectors. If you already have education which is related to one of the sectors, if you have done your commerce graduation, if you have some degree, some certification related to banking, and then you are acquiring these skill sets, then your life will be very easy when it comes to banking sector. Then you can try to apply for those jobs. But at the same time, you should have all these domain knowledge and do not only restrict to one specific thing. Highlight and target the role that you want to get in, but at the same time, you should have all this knowledge as well. Okay. And so these are some of the important skills that you should be aware of. And if we talk about roles, if you are already working as MIS expert, wherein you are dealing with Excel sheets, if you are already working into SQL, if you're already working into some of the Power BI tools, this Power BI and Tableau, then if you're already working in Python, if these are the roles that you are currently working in, then you would be getting the first preference if you want to move into data analytics. Okay, so use these skills as a stepping stone. If you are not directly getting a role into data science now, but if you get a chance to get in any of these skill sets, roles related to any of these skill sets, it can be MIS, it can be Excel, it can be SQL, it can be Power BI, jump into the skill set, let that be the first step, and keep preparing all the different multiple libraries of Python and then machine learning, and accordingly take a second step and move corely into that. Okay, so these are the basics, and you have to know the skill sets. Make a note of it, all these skills, and start preparing and learning towards it one by one. Because this is what brings me end to this particular video. Ensure that I'm assuming that it already helped you. Ensure that you follow it, and that would be good.